it's really important that we actually tell you what this challenge is about, what we're sort of going to be doing over the next 5 or 6 months, and why it's sort of an interesting opportunity. When we started talking about this, it's not just about um, the prize money that Praxis has put up. It's not just about necessarily the kind of community and innovation and the help we're trying to build. It's a pathway for all of us to learn how to better express our ideas, how to match our ideas with the needs of people we're trying to help, and how to go about getting funding. So this challenge, what makes it a little bit unique is that it is about developing ideas into things we can present to people, whether it's funding agencies that are government driven, not-for-profit funding agencies, philanthropic agencies, businesses potentially, as well as other commercialization arms within our society. So as we go forward, we'd like to explain the challenge. But before we do so, I'd just like to introduce some of the team that have actually put this all together in the last 12 days or so. And so let's, I think the next slide is the team slide. If we can move it forward. So I'd like, if we can just go and all of you to say, you've already met me, you've met Chris, but I'd like to introduce Jillian. Jillian, will you please say hello?
Hi, everyone. My name's Jillian. I'm the business and project director for the Praxis Ideation Challenge. Thank you so much for taking the time and joining us for this information session. We're extremely excited for everything that can happen and all the opportunities that are about to happen with this challenge. So thank you so much.
Zoya?
Hi everyone, I'm Zoya Retivala. If you're from the TRP, you're already very familiar with me. If you're not, for Praxis, I'm the Marketing and Communications Director. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. And honestly, this is a very open challenge. So we're really happy and excited to hear your ideas.
And Tatiana?
Excellent. Behind the screen here, I'm Tatiana Skora, and I'm helping with judging and as a creative director of this Praxis Challenge. Really excited to see all of the ideas that are going to come through and excited to work with you all.
So there are actually a lot of other people that are related to this challenge that we'll introduce throughout the various weeks. But really, let's get to the meat of it. What we're doing here is we are trying to generate and help you generate and improve your ideas. And so as part of this challenge, as we move, there are a number of workshops. As we go through the workshops, they're intended and designed to help you develop pieces of your innovation, starting with understanding innovation and approaches to innovation, really making sure that we understand the need we're trying to address, the people we're trying to work with, and moving that into defining winning projects, looking at the various contexts. So it's very important that we talk about the opportunity here isn't just to do devices. We heard a lot of devices, but there can be a lot of other ways that we can improve the quality of life for people. And so understanding the different pathways, understanding regulatory, jurisdictional, legal, as well as pathways to market. We're also in workshop 4 going to look at opportunities for innovation. So how do we ideate? How do we create different types of innovation strategies? We're going to look at safety and efficacy, clinical trials, and we're going to be looking at how to implement and demonstrate prototypes. The goal of this is, as we go through this process, that there are things that will be interesting to different people. Some may be interesting to a number of people, and those of you that participate in the workshops throughout will get a certificate of participation. Others, that when you go through the workshops, you'll be able to submit a 2-minute video pitch. The best video pitch, as judged by our judges from our partner institutions and Praxis, will be awarded $3,000. But those of you that don't necessarily get that first award, you'll still be part of the journey with us. And as you improve, we will select between 6 to 10 teams of people or projects that will then qualify for a live pitch so we can see the ideas. The winner of the live pitch will receive an additional $10,000. Then we will be moving towards the third prototyping leg of this challenge, and we have money for some teams to prototype, but also our partners, our partnering institutions will potentially pick students and people in their organizations to fund the prototyping and to support as we move forward. During demo days, the most promising prototype will then receive another $25,000 in support. But more importantly, the demo day will include a number of funders and a number of people that are the receptors of potentially commercializable ideas. So even if you don't win any of the small awards along the way, there is the potential that you can be a big winner, in that as you develop your idea, you'll be able to attract a funder, an investor, or an organization that's willing to help you and move you forward towards commercializing something that will help improve lives. Throughout all of this, there are 2 other key elements. The first one is the mentorship. So as we learn who you are and the ideas you're working for, we, the various institutional partners, the people involved, will reach out into our networks to provide you with key opinion leaders, experts in various fields, people with lived experience, people that we can sort of help mentor you towards refining and improving your ideas, which is the bottom line here. Finally, in terms of internships, we have partners including MyTax, Medventions, Innovate, and several others that will be looking for the ideas for interns that they can fund. And the funding will be based on sort of their criteria, but we will also have some funding from the prize money that Praxis has put in, that we can fund some independent internships, as well as we potentially through MyTax can match internships of researchers and clinicians out there that are looking for student interns. So part of this challenge is also to get people matched up to work on ideas together. It is my sincere hope that as we go through this together and as we expand our group of people involved in this, that we can actually maybe collaborate across the country. And I know there are some people from across the globe here and that will be viewing, and it would be absolutely phenomenal if we can all work on something that ends up helping people. So that's the challenge in a nutshell. I'm going to give an opportunity for our partners to introduce ourselves very quickly, and then we will answer questions. So we have 4 institutions represented here. Let's start with SFU.
Great, that timing works well, Joseph, as I've got a 3 p.m. So very quickly, if you could just advance. I'm Alicia Main. I am a special advisor for innovation across SFU, and we have a platform called SFU Innovates, under which we have our various efforts to try to support innovation and entrepreneurship, and also specifically research-based innovation. Advance, please. So these 4 pillars: entrepreneurship, social innovation, incubation, acceleration, and industry and community research partnerships. Advance, please. And the part that I want to offer, if you can just keep advancing, unfortunately, it's set as a advanced slide. So I'm a researcher who focuses on trying to get breakthrough invention from the research lab and out into society, tackling pressing global needs like the ones that we heard about this morning. What I've found in 20 years of research on this topic is that there is much that can be done while still in the research lab. And I applaud this ideation effort and what we heard this morning about the things that can be considered in early stage research and how to try to systematically encourage and do that. So the program that we run at Invention to Innovation, that actually this year is also in Ontario and Quebec through partnership with MyTax, focuses on early stage capabilities that scientists can develop that can help them to better endow if they have a spinoff getting out of the university, and if not, to help them think about issues early on, for especially relevant to therapeutics, materials, nanotech, chemistry, chemical engineering, and the long journey it faces to get to market. So thank you. We're delighted to be a part, and we hope that we have several researchers on the call today with wonderful early stage inventions, and we hope to learn from this collaboration and to contribute to it.
Hi, everybody. The University of Calgary's me, Carrie Damon, the Executive Director of the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking. I just have a couple slides to introduce who we are. The first, if you could please advance. So I may be preaching to the choir on entrepreneurial thinking because of this group is a very entrepreneurial sort. What we love about this challenge that Praxis is doing with U of T and the rest of the partners is that it's very much in our sweet spot of entrepreneurial thinking. So entrepreneurial thinking is finding problems that matter to solve. So it's about being creative and finding innovative solutions. And we believe it applies to all faculties. So at the University of Calgary, the Hunter Hub works with all 14 faculties, as well as the traditional innovation groups and tech transfer centers, etc. Next slide. What's really interesting about the Hunter Hub for Entrepreneurial Thinking, it's one of a kind. I've never seen any center like it. It's a $40 million contribution from the Hunter Family Foundation to really think through how we can use entrepreneurial thinking as a tool to transform lives and economies. So we work with all areas of our university, from students to faculty to staff and the community and beyond. And our aspiration is to have 1/3 of students at the University of Calgary have an entrepreneurial thinking experience through interesting challenges like these on real world problems, or working for startups, or starting a startup themselves. Next slide. And then just a little picture. We're kind of, for those of you who the Hunter Hub is it's new to, the Hunter Hub is sort of the glue or the connective tissue across the university through the traditional innovative spheres of research and innovation to teaching and learning. We embed a lot of entrepreneurial thinking content and courses, and connecting the community in Alberta and beyond. So we're delighted to be part of this national network, and I'm really looking forward to the ideas that come out of it. And that's all for me. Thanks.
Thank you, Carrie. I don't know if Chris is around.
Which Chris?
That's true. Chris B.
Sure.
Give a couple words about BME.
Sure. Well, let's advance the next slide. So we're at the University of Toronto, we have the Institute of Biomedical Engineering. This is a joint collaboration, mainly by engineering, but we also have involvement of medicine and dentistry. We're primarily a graduate institute. There's 300 graduate students. We've got a core group of faculty, but altogether there's 100 faculty members when you account for all the cross appointees and close collaborators. And we partner with all across the different academic and hospital partners, especially down there at UHN and Sunnybrook and many other examples. Where I kind of come in as the black sheep is I also am more heavily involved in the undergraduate side. So we still have our tentacles in undergraduate minor. If you're in one of the programs, you can take a minor program. And then there's also some major programs where students focus a little bit more on biomedical engineering. Yes, so maybe speaking specifically of, if you're in the Toronto area, maybe if we open things up, we've got some teaching facilities. So, we'll see if there's some fun projects. Maybe there's even some stem cells or cellular-based therapies. We can help you out there. We've got a great teaching lab full of microscopes and incubators, all sorts of stuff. And then we've got our humble yet very powerful design studio, where we have spaces for students. We've got all sorts of physiological monitoring equipment. We got these things called bioradios where you put them on, you can measure all sorts of things, ECGs, EEGs, EMGs, all sorts of good stuff, and a small little prototyping space. And I think that's all the slides we have for BME.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So I'm just going to quickly, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the other U of T partners in this. Greatly appreciate the support of the Faculty of Applied Science and Engineering, BME, but also Mechanical and Industrial Engineering, as well as the Temerty Faculty of Medicine. And the specific departments include medical imaging, psychiatry, surgery, pediatrics, and the Department of Medicine. And then 3 organizations within that, Medical Innovations Toronto, Health Innovation Hub, which is our Faculty of Medicine incubator, and the Translational Research Program, which I know some of our students are here, who do this and work on problems of bringing ideas into society that help people. So just acknowledge those before we go on to our next institution.
Perfect. Thank you, Joseph. So I'll start off by thanking Praxis for the great partnership that they've had with the University of Waterloo. We've been very happy and very excited. And I also want to take the opportunity to thank the University of Toronto and Joseph for organizing this and initiating this. And it looks to be a very exciting initiative. The University of Waterloo has put together stakeholders from the Center for Bioengineering and Biotechnology, which I represent, but also the Faculty of Engineering and the Faculty of Health to put teams together towards this initiative. What really excites me personally about this initiative is that Waterloo has a good reputation in entrepreneurship, and we'll get to that in a slide. But really, it's the clinical piece, engaging with users who actually are suffering from spinal cord injuries, learning from them, and of course, designing solutions with that input in mind, and then leading to validation with them as well. That is really, really exciting. I think we're going to get something that works out of that. Next slide, please. For those of you who may not be familiar with Waterloo, we have 4 pillars: the academic strength, experience-rich education, of course, which is cooperative education, research, and a very strong startup culture. I'll dwell for a couple of minutes on the startup culture. Next slide, please. So Waterloo has a good history with startups. In 2015, according to PitchBook, entrepreneurs raised $2.6 billion. There's about $2 billion in corporate value for accelerator companies. It's the #1 school in Canada for venture capital-backed entrepreneurs. More than 2,300 jobs have been created by companies just out of Velocity, which is the Waterloo incubator. And more than 315 companies have been created from Waterloo. Now, this information is a few years old. I apologized. I pulled a slide that I've used some years back, but it kind of gives you an idea that Waterloo is big on entrepreneurship and innovation. That's kind of what we do. And what we're really excited about with regards to this Praxis partnership, as well as working with the University of Toronto and the other academic institutions, is really the clinical engagement, the clinical validation with the users. I'll stop there.
All right. So I believe now we're just going to open it up to questions and do our best to answer. Sorry, it's my fault. So this is a launch. The reason it's a launch is because we're starting out. So we are still looking for both participants, but also advisors, co-creators, mentors, judges, and sponsors. So if any of you are interested, there are a number of different roles that we can create. And if you're interested, check out our website, which is ideation.clinic. And we will be putting updates and information there, both from the challenge and from our partners of activities that they may be hosting and holding over the next several months that relate to this space. Okay, so with that, I'd like to thank our title sponsor, Praxis, for providing the opportunity to get us all together across the country and to meet with people who have lived experience, to develop a curriculum that will help all of us hopefully come up with new and interesting ideas that we can move towards commercialization and helping those living with spinal cord injuries. Thank you. And most of all, I want to thank my team, and I want to thank all of the people that have put so much energy in this, in putting together this last hour and a bit, because really they did all the work, and it's without them, we wouldn't be able to have this chance to move forward.